coined by Marissa Crawford and Boone. And Broetry is essentially poetry written by certain 20 to 30-something-year-old straight white male poets, also known as Broets. And I'm going to talk about Bromanticism, and Bromanticism and Broetry kind of intersect. The lines are blurred. So Bromanticism is writing by men exploring the themes of masculinity, male intimacy, and friendship. It often covers specific topics such as beards, farts, scabs, boyhood, manhood, punching things, biting things, holding things, hating your father, loving your father, gift giving, cooking eggs, little brothers, getting surgery, trying to examine your own asshole in the mirror, sharing 25-cent grape sodas in front of Safeway after skating the three-stair curb and the curb all day, flannel shirts, working on your vehicle, nostalgia for the smell of motor oil mixed with sweat, the way you stuck out your chest after laying it in, smell my finger, masturbating in bunk beds, dumpster diving, pull my finger, Pinewood Derby, shoplifting from the hardware store, his arm on your shoulder, driving across Canada, trying to pet the moose, breaking your nose, heart disease, trying to decide whether or not you're gay while staring at the pitcher's bulge during baseball practice, picking flowers, sewing minor threat patches onto your backpack, tears rolling down your cheeks while you sing along to Sheryl Crow's All I Want to Do after getting dumped by your 7th grade girlfriend. So I'm going to read two pieces that I think are romantic. And the first one is called No Jacob Evans in New York City, and I wrote it while my friend Jacob Evans was living, well, he still is living in Vietnam, but he's here with us, and I'm very happy he's here. So it's called No Jacob Evans in New York City. You know, they say there's no Jacob Evans in New York City. And they say that Jews don't surf, because there's no good surf in New York City. But I surf good. Like shalom, motherfucker. They say that the baked goods are so good in New York City because the water is so sweet and traveled through bricks. The water is so good and sweet that when the weather is hot, it runs in the gutters. Water mixing with the city's sweat. Jacob Evans, if he were here, would drink all the water because he's all expansive and open-ended like that. Jacob Evans, Jewish, would surf good too. His uncle killed a shark with his bare hands, like shalom, motherfucker. When Jacob Evans became an uncle, he was supposed to kill a shark too. Things like that are genetic. He went to Vietnam to find one, but all the sharks had gone to New York City to make it big. So therefore, Jacob Evans owns one of their vicious lives. So therefore, Jacob Evans is in New York City. Woo! And this is called Bros, B-R-O-S-E, and it's about my friend Orion. And I wrote it in 2009, which feels like really a long time ago.
Yeah, weird.
I feel sad about that.
PC with beef bread.
Orion pulls onto the sidewalk in his 5-speed Toyota truck without power steering. Wrenching his small arms against the wheel, he smiles and coughs as he comes to a stop. Oh, Matt, he says, like he wants something, but doesn't know how to ask for it. What's up, man? I ask, reminding us that even though we want things from each other, we are still men. Oh, Matt, he says. And this surge of annoyance pulses through me. What's up? You seem bummed, I say, as I slide onto the bench beside him. He shakes the shifter around a few times before popping into reverse, looking at me in the eyes, letting out a sigh. Dude, what's going on? I ask, knowing inside that he probably wants to talk about his ex-girlfriend. It's all he ever wants to talk about. The car's body is vibrating against his frame as we slowly idle backwards into the street, dropping off the curb, rear axle, and then front. I farted. Sorry, he says. I shake my head and I wait for it to hit. Orion's farts smell like shoes that have been worn without socks for several summers. His feet smell like that too because he does wear his shoes without socks for several summers. His blue Vans are scraps of canvas stitched together with dental floss, congealed sweat, and shoe goo filling the spaces between. Maybe his footwear odor somehow leaches up through his legs into his stomach and comes out in his farts. It actually doesn't bother me that much. In fact, I think they smell better than your standard eggy or spicy farts. Maybe this is just because when you've smelled someone's farts for many, many years, they begin to not bother you. It's just like how your own snot doesn't gross you out when you see it in a tissue.
Yeah. No.
Matt. I'm sorry. And he leans over to hug me, letting the gears grind, with the truck blocking off half of 42nd Avenue. I pat him on the back anxiously. We should get going. I think there's cars coming, I say. The truck is shaking and shaking and shaking, and I realize that the truck is actually still, and it's Orion who's shaking, heaving against my chest, crying. He pulls his head away and wipes his tears with his index fingers, sniffling. My flannel shirt, moist with a mixture of Orion's tears, snot, and my own sweat, hangs heavy and awkward on my shoulders, wrinkled down towards my butt, where it disappears, pinched between the rough gray fabric of the truck's bench and my jeans. I'll have to have it dry clean now. I imagine painting the walls of the truck cab white. That might make me feel lighter in this moment. I think about how I never cry in front of my friends, but cry way too much in front of my lovers. I think about my father weeping when he found out he wouldn't be able to retire for 10 more years. I consider saying something vague and hopeful to Orion, like, "You'll be all right," or "In another year you'll be crying over a new ex-girlfriend," or "For a door to open, sometimes a window must close." Some crap like that. I want to give him something. I want to be more than the tissue. "Sorry, man," I blurt out, reminding us that though he cried in front of me, we are still both men. "I saw her last night, and it was obvious that she doesn't love me anymore. It was just obvious," he says. "Yeah," I ask. "I feel a lot better now, though," he says. I'm holding my breath as he pulls the shifter into first and pushes his weight into the gas pedal.